Check, check, test, test. It is 6:10. I'm going to call the meeting for the Lake Worth Beach Community Redevelopment Agency for Tuesday, June 10th to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Daniel Morgan.
Here.
Ms. Caroline Shamshi-Basha.
Here.
Ms. Leah Birch.
Here.
Ms. Carla Blockson.
Here.
Ms. Ann Fairfax. Please note Ann Fairfax, Donna Kerner, and Drew Bartlett are absent.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, do we have any additions, deletions, or reordering to the agenda? No. Okay. At this time, we have public comment on non-agenda items. If you would like to make a public comment, please step forward. Board, please review the minutes from May 13th, and if you have any corrections, please let me know. And if not, let's have a motion.
To approve the minutes?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. And we have a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve consent. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we have the presentations from the Office of Inspector General, our annual presentation.
Yeah.
Please step up. Okay.
Thank you again for having me. I've dropped off a few little things and I'm really just here to remind everybody that the Commission on Ethics is here in the county. It's our 15-year anniversary, actually. So we've been around for a while now. Remaining our goal to make sure that people remain in compliance and hopefully don't even come out of compliance. We definitely want to be the proactive agency that deals with things before they become a problem. To that end, we're available for just about everything: questions, trainings, drop-ins, community reach out. So we're happy to be here in the capacity that we are, and just reminding everybody, the general public, anybody who serves, that our commitment as public servants is to the people. And just to make sure that whenever anybody has a question, that to know that we're here, that we'll do our best to get that question answered quickly. And that goes to the public as well. We take calls all the time. So just again, 15 years of service, and we're still here for everybody if you need us.
Do you answer questions on the financial form that we fill out? Can you provide assistance there?
No, I can't, because that's a state form. I mean, I used to have to fill one out myself, but no, I'm probably not super helpful.
Yeah,
on that.
David Tolson's board attorney. Yeah, if you have questions about the Form 1, feel free to reach out to my office, or you can call up to Tallahassee. They are very helpful.
They are. Yep. I can't answer that. They are helpful.
And that's because you all are responsible for filing the financial disclosure form for 2024 no later than July 1st. If you don't file it by July 1st, you'll get a notice to remind you to file it. You won't be subject to any fines till after August 31st, I believe. So, and you have to file it electronically through the Commission on Ethics financial disclosure website. Any questions, reach out to me. They have a 1-800 number, I believe, or an 888 number they can call if you have any questions. But please make sure you do file that form.
They'll call you if you don't.
Yeah.
They will. So no, I can't help you there, but a good thing we have the expert in the room. Anything else? Anybody? Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks. Now we'll have the presentation on the fiscal year 25 revenue presentation.
All right, it's that time of year again, guys. Gonna go through revenue presentation like we do every year to just get you familiar with the revenues that we get, the expenditures that we make, and really what our role is here as the CRA board, which is to raise values and spend money in the district. Thank you. Tax highlights for 2025, our taxable values went up, 7.5%, about there, it could be 7.5, 7.6. And it's the first year that we're actually in single digits, so that's a little worrisome, but it is in part due to extra homestead exemptions that were passed, and also both the Bohemian and the Mid refinanced their developments and now have over 70% of the units at 120% or less of AMI. So we lost probably about $40 million in value because of that. But we're still doing good. Okay, the next chart, when we first started, our baseline taxable value was 174 million. It is now 795 million, and this is a difference of approximately 271% in 10 years. And you can see from the chart, they're steadily rising. No great dips or highs, which is really good. And then on the right, we just kind of have the breakdown of how many homes are valued less than 100,000. How many have between 100 and 250, et cetera, et cetera. So values obviously are increasing, but we still have quite a good number of homes that are under $100,000. So this next slide talks a little bit about investment. So on the right-hand side is Lake Worth Station, which I believe they're getting ready to start over at 10th and G. This is being done by Ricardo Hernandez, who also did Deco Green. We gave it a $200,000 grant, public infrastructure grant. They're building 91 units, 78 will be affordable. Development cost is probably at least 30 million, which gives us a public-private ratio of 150 to 1. On your left, in the middle, and then in the right corner is Madison Terrace. As you can see, that one is also under construction. For this project, we gave the local match for the LIHTC credits, so that was $640,000. And then we also gave them another $200,000 of infrastructure money. Again, this is approximately 171 units, all for people 55 and older, all making less than 120% of AMI, with the majority making 80% or less. And the public-private investment for this is $53 to 1. Next, please. Just a few, it's called development in the district. So on the upper left corner, Thousand Lake Ave, they recently got all of their permits except for the kitchen. So we took a little tour over there. It's kind of hard to tell on this, but the bar is actually built. They have a huge hole in the floor, and they have the vats for the brewery in there. It's coming along pretty nicely. And then in the middle, we have what used to be Lula's, which was a great restaurant. But the bad news is Lula's leaving. The good news is we're getting another restaurant to replace it, and I can't tell you what it is at this point, but I think everybody will be relatively happy. Also in Dixie Highway, we finally have the start, at least, of what is that called? No. Blue Front. Well, it says Blue Front on it, but that's not the name of it.
Right.
Ruru's. Thank you. Good. We also have a picture of one of the buy down apartments that we bought the units down. We bought 3 of those down last year. We have some other stuff on Dixie Highway, AutoZone, not really very attractive, but we also have the law office that's going down on South Dixie that we are subsidizing somewhat. We have the Colony, which is already under development on the corner of Federal and Lucerne. And also on North Dixie Highway, we have 4-unit housing, kind of live work kind of spaces. But I don't think they've gone in for any permitting yet. And then completed projects, if they're not complete all the way, they're almost complete. Deco Green, and it looks really fantastic. Deco Green, we gave a 250,000 infrastructure grant. The project itself is worth over $42 million, which is 120-to-1 ratio. On the lower left-hand side, we have the Gulfstream Hotel and then the addition. They are well underway with the historic portion of that. That will include 140 rooms, 83 apartments, ballroom, business center. We gave $3 million through infrastructure grant and also a TIF rebate, which obviously we were not going to pay until the new part comes along. Development costs probably at least $100 million, which is a public-private investment of 35-to-1. And then on your right side up at the top, you'll see the space that hopefully one day will have Village Flats in it, along with a picture right underneath that. And below that is Sky Garden and Standard. We weren't involved in Standard, but we were involved with Sky Garden, gave that some subsidy, and that one is all built and on the tax rolls. W Moda, as you know, we've gone through a number of different agreements. The next steps is entitlement. They'll be going to planning and zoning in probably July or August. And then hopefully the commission for 2 readings in August or September. We gave about $8 million in infrastructure, donated land, and we bought down 8 of the live work units there. W Moda's investment is at least $65 million, and the public-private ratio is 8-to-1. Next, we have our affordable housing program, which is going in full force right now. We have a number of homes that are under construction, as you can see. We have ones that will be done soon, and we also have some that we've dedicated this year. So that's just a little collage of all of that. Next we have, and I hope you can see this, there's 2 circled areas. So the one up top is some parcels that we own that we land banked. We also bought some parcels, single-family homes behind the urban arts lofts, and that's 114 and 115. And the plan for that is to RFP for multifamily. There's also the zoning changes as you go to the west, so there are some other single-family homes there that will be built by Habitat. But we're guessing that development could go up to 41 units. Of course, it's going to depend who gets in and what they plan on it, but that's what the zoning would allow. Thank you. Habitat for Humanity, we have a lot of projects going on with them. I believe they have at least 3 under construction right now. They're trying to get ready for the fall for Women's Build and Veterans Build. You can see some of the new homes there, also some of the renderings, and they actually had 1 rehab. Next is the Community Land Trust. They are building villas on 4 of our properties, so there'll be 2 each, obviously. Then we have some 25-foot lots where they're going to be building a 2-story villa, and so far there's 2 of those planned. So you can see a number of the parcels we have all ready for them to go. They are applying, and we just did our part to apply for some funding. I think it's foundation funding to do affordable housing, specifically with Community Land Trust. So keep your fingers crossed on that. Next, which is extremely difficult to see, these are all the affordable housing projects we've done. One is south of Lake and one is north. You can see in the red is CRA or private developers, and that would include, of course, Inhabit. We also have Adopt a Family in blue. You can see a number of those scattered throughout. Habitat for Humanity is the orange. Community Land Trust is the green. And you can see a big green one, that's La Jolla Villages down on 6th. Neighborhood Renaissance is yellow, a little harder to see. And the last one is Community Partners. So it's been very hard to kind of get all the numbers together, but this is what we've come up with. Since 2011, 788 units have been developed in the district. 483 units are deed restricted as affordable, and 45 are restricted as workforce. There are 673 units pending, of which 336 will be affordable housing and 86 will be workforce units. These are all our commercial grants. As you can see, 14 different ones were given out this year. On Dixie Highway, we had 7, which is great. Downtown, we had 5. The west side, we had 2. You can see all of those there. We awarded a little over $700,000 with a public-private investment of 8 to 6. This is just to kind of show you some of the property values. So I'm going to start on the right with Cedars Mechanical. This was an old mixed-use building. Cedars Mechanical took it over. I know we gave them I believe, a facade grant. So the value of that went up 223% just from changing it from multifamily to commercial. You could see the commercial property there. The one in the Laura, which was on the first page when we first started, they each got a public infrastructure grant of $200,000. Taxable values for those 2 projects on 1,418% increase. And then on the bottom, we have Dixie Capital, the commercial facade grant for $25,000. It used to, those used to be, there was 2 buildings there and they were both boarded up, and one was kind of known to be like a drug haven. And the other one used to be some kind of company that made ice. So the taxable value on that particular corner went from 135,000 to 1.4 million. Matthews Brewery, we an interior improvement grant from the CRA for $10,000. The taxable value of that development with Matthews putting in obviously a great deal of his own funding increased 214%, with the taxable value going from in the 200s to the 800s. Grants received, we are now, as of today, including pro housing, up to $46.5 million since 2010. We are actually in the running for a 1.5 CPF grant that was recommended by Congresswoman Frankel. We already have 2 CPF grants from her that we are still working on. We have kind of a breakdown of what the different grants went for. Obviously, the huge one is housing. We also have some grants in the past from infrastructure, special events, and demolition, which is from SWA. And then on the right, most of our funding sources, of course, HUD, Solid Waste Authority, the Cultural Affairs, Cultural Council, and the Department of Transportation. And that is all I have for you, unless you have any questions.
Joan, I do have a question.
Sure.
Could you please explain the public-private ratio? You covered it for each item,
Yeah.
but explain so that people at home will know exactly what that ratio means.
So depending on the project, if we put $1 in, the private sector puts in 50, could be 100. So just showing that we're always leveraging our money for a lot more investment. There's a lot more private money going into it, obviously, than public money, which is the way it needs to be.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we're on to the executive director's report.
I actually have a big one. First in your packet, there's a flyer for the arts exhibition that's showing at Hatch right now from June 5th to July 26th. It's a fantastic show. There's so many pieces in there. You'll definitely absolutely love it. I did touch upon the CPD submittal for funding. We just heard from Congresswoman Frankel's office that our affordable housing grant application was approved, at least by her office, for the 1.5. So the 1.5 is going, and hopefully Congress will approve it this year because they didn't approve those particular grants last year. I also included in your packet a grant letter for the pro housing. It was sent to the mayor in May. I'm not sure why it came so late, but better late than never. We also have a copy of the annual financial report for 23-24. The city and the auditors are done with that, and we had no findings or problems or issues or things like that. And then just to kind of let everybody out there know, we recently transferred and paid $10,000 to the city so they could do downtown pressure cleaning, and that goes all the way from the circle all the way down. And that is all the comments I had. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we'll entertain board members' comments.
No comments, thank you.
I like these revenue presentations. It's cool to see how the money that we deploy is utilized. Thank you.
Daniel? I wanted to thank you for that because I wanted people to understand that we are leveraging those dollars. You know, we're not just receiving money, we're actually taking that money and doing something with it. And I was really pleased because some of those figures are really, really high. And I know that Sarah is really happy about the downtown pressure cleaning because she had been talking about it for a while. So I'm sure that she's very happy about that. And I know that a new funeral home is coming to Dixie Highway in Sarah's district. And I believe he's on this in the CRA district as well on that Dixie corridor. And so I did attend the meeting. And Sarah, did you want to say something about that?
Hi, Sarah Maliga, District 1 City Commissioner, Vice Mayor, and also your CRA liaison. And the opportunity that Ms. Carla was just speaking about is a small business owner who's been working diligently to get a funeral home along Dixie Corridor. And we were at the Whispering Palms neighborhood, and I actually had reached out to Joan and Chris and said, are there any funds? Can we get this person in? Because they are having financial problems with getting some of the interior structures done. So I told them to wait until the next budget and when the grants were open, and hopefully you'll have them before you. And it's a great business and it's a big need in the community right now.
Thank you. And I talked with the owner and I said, please make sure you get all of your numbers in order and that you know exactly what you need and how much it's going to cost, because we don't want to give Chris too much work when he has to work with you. So please start on that. And then when you're ready, please reach out to Chris and he'll be happy to help you. And I was really pleased that we were able to do something within the corridor on the south end, you know, because I think that we should. Where? We have, she has it. They've probably been trying. And so that's the end of board member comments. I think we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.